And so in today's gospel reading, we have several healings of Christ. We have him healing the blind men. We have him extricating a demon. And we also having him give now speech to someone who was dumb, who was not able to speak. So what are we to take away from this? That, as some people say, that Jesus was a good man, a prophet who did many healings. Well, many of the old prophets and persons of the Old Testament did exactly these things, to include raising someone from the dead. So if we just look at Christ's healing, then we lose the focus of who he is. We lose sight of his divinity. So, did Jesus have compassion? Yes, he answered the question of the blind men who said, "Have mercy on us." But notice what they said, "O Son of David." And so there is a recognition there that he is more than just a prophet. And so Jesus' miracles and his healings point to his divinity, not just to the actions of what he is performing. So when Christ performs these healings, there are several things that he's doing. Namely, one, he's using these events of miracles and healing to demonstrate, at least to his disciples, his divinity. Because certainly we have cases where his divinity was shown through his miracles, but people still failed to believe. But he was establishing his ministry with his disciples, and he wanted them to see his divinity. And certainly on Mount Tabor, they were able to see that firsthand through that light. He also Christ wanted to show and emphasize what is the power of faith to what he saw as a faithless generation, a generation now who has taken religion and turned it into a ritualistic act. Much the same way many times today people view our Orthodox liturgy, a Catholic liturgy, a Protestant liturgy, and see it only in its ritualistic bareness. But it is more than that. What this is more than religion for us. This is a faith that is a way of life. And so, with respect to Christ's revelation to his divinity, he hearkens back to what happened in the Old Testament. He hearkens back to the fact that the Old Testament foreshadows who he is. In fact, if I can read a couple of scriptures from the Old Testament, Exodus, who gave this man his mouth? Who makes this man deaf or mute? Who gives him sight? Who makes him blind? Is it not I, the Lord? And in the Psalms, the maker of heaven and earth, the Lord who remains faithful forever, the Lord who gives food to the hungry. And so we are not to think of Christ's actions merely as actions of miracles and healing, but as demonstrations to help increase our faith. Certainly it increased the faith of the disciples. It took them a while to get there, but their faith was increased. And our faith can be increased too, as long as we recognize what Jesus Christ has given us today. Then he had his miracles and his signs that he performed. Today, what he gave us is he gave us the Holy Spirit. And these are the miracles that we see today. And that echoing of what Christ said, your faith has made you well, echoes today through the call of the Holy Spirit for us to be holy in all things and to recognize the will of the Father, the actions of the Son, and the grace that is given to us by the Holy Spirit.